We saw a huge growth of over 50% year over year in organic traffic or intent behind the searches. So understanding where people are and meeting them with ensuring that you have content as well as pages on the site to address those types of queries.
Sean Van Gilder, the SEO boss at Fujisan Marketing. This dude's been in the game since the web was basically a toddler, messing with sites and climbing the ranks. He's teamed up with big dogs like GoDaddy and New Relic, blending tech chops with marketing swagger. Way back, he was building pages when Yahoo ruled, and now he's tackling Google's AI madness.
Talking about AI, new AI powered tools like, DeepSeek and OpenAI's, advancements are really pushing the boundaries now, right? So how do you see these advancements or evolution kind of affecting SEO strategies, especially for content heavy sites?
The one thing that concerns me is that people just simply take what is generated on whatever chat or AI platform and using that without doing any human editing.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions about enterprise SEO that, marketers kind of still get it wrong?
The companies tend to get in the way of themselves. They think they know what the users want without doing the research and the data behind it.
Let's say the entrepreneurs who are trying to start their own agency, set up stuff. What is that piece of advice you would want to give to them?
I would say the first thing is
E-coffee with experts.
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
great. How about you?
Good, I can't really complain. So, Sean, before we move any forward, let's get to know the human behind the mic, and you have been in this space for quite some time now. So talk us through your journey a bit and also about your agency, what you guys do, what you guys specialize in, and we'll take it forward from there on.
Great. I started off early on when the web was first coming about. So I started off as a website developer and designer. And then essentially my passion between technical as well as marketing, it just went hand in hand, kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup, two great things that go together. Essentially, when I started getting more involved in SEO and strategy for marketing, I saw the evolution that was occurring from directories like at the time Yahoo versus true search engines evolving like Google and some others. So I've always had a passion for SEO because it does balance both the creative / marketing side as well as the technical.
Absolutely. And, SEO overall, has changed drastically over the last 2 decades, right? So, what is that one major shift which you have experienced, which was like the game changer? I know there are a lot of updates which kind of keep coming in. A lot of Google updates there. You have seen enough summers and winters, right? And in this space. So what was that, one big shift that you have experienced during your journey so far?
I think the biggest shift that's occurred is, and quite honestly, it started around 2015 with Google focusing on AI. And now we've seen an even bigger shift within the AI realm where people are starting to understand that it's not simply about keyword rankings, it's about user intent behind the searches. So understanding what people are actually searching on, where it falls within the marketing funnel, which is kind of squishy at best, but understanding if people are truly looking for information types of content versus they want to make a purchase. So understanding where people are and meeting them with ensuring that you have content as well as pages on the site to address those types of queries.
Lovely. And then, in these years, you've worked with, brands now, an agency, you've worked with, large scale setups like GoDaddy, Redfin, the New Relics of the world. And now, on the agency side of things. So obviously, both sides of the table have their own challenges. How do you kind of, feel one is different from another?
As far as agency side goes, essentially being that we have a wide variety of clientele, looking at some of them being e-commerce, some of them are very much local types of businesses, looking at SaaS, that sort of thing. It's understanding how they play within that market space. So that's one of the things that I love working for an agency is the diversity of the client. So understanding what their business is, what their goals are, what their marketing plans are for the year, and ensuring that we incorporate all the digital marketing channels because they all play together. They have an impact on each other. SEO has an impact on paid search, vice versa. AI obviously coming up has an impact when we're looking at social media posts. other platforms such as Reddit, et cetera, to ensure that we're growing the brand recognition for the companies.
And then, talking about AI, new AI powered tools like, DeepSeek and OpenAI's, advancements are really pushing the boundaries now, right? And then when it comes to content, it is getting kind of revolutionary. So how do you see these advancements or evolution kind of affecting SEO strategies, especially for content heavy sites?
I think there's two ways to answer that. One is AI and tools such as ChatGPT, Gemini, et cetera. What they're helping to provide is an accelerant for research, things that would have in the past taken me hours to dive into and create. I'm now able to generate that within minutes. I can then go through and edit, etc. I think the other part is there's companies need to have the mindset that it is a shift, that with the advent of the AI tools that I mentioned, is that it's really around voice search. I mean, Google's been there for quite some time. And now we have other players coming into the space where if we are not addressing the needs of the user based on voice type of search versus 2 to 5 keywords that people have been, using to search on Google, they're going to be lost in the shuffle. They're not going to get brand recognition. They're not going to show up in AI overviews, that sort of thing. So that, to me, is one of the bigger shifts as well, is helping our clients understand that it's now about voice types of queries and user intent behind the queries.
Right. And then, there have been and there will always be misconceptions about, SEO, let's say enterprise SEO, since you have dealt with large scale clients, large scale setups. So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about enterprise SEO that, marketers kind of still get it wrong?
I think the biggest one that I've seen is the companies tend to get in the way of themselves. They think they know what the users want without doing the research and the data behind it. And then a lot of times I've worked with companies that are global, have different language websites, international teams in place, but it's still coming, the direction is almost myopic because it's US centric versus understanding that there are nuances to international websites, localization, and how people search in those different markets. So to me, it's been important that I partner with different SEO teams and marketing teams across both the content creation side, tech side, social, et cetera, to ensure that we understand that there are some nuances in those markets. And I think one of the biggest things too is ensuring that, especially from a tech side, when it's enterprise level, international level, that there are signals in place to the engines to say these are our international sites and how they relate, to ensure that they are showing up in other search engines such as Baidu, Yandex, et cetera. And oftentimes that's missed.
Absolutely. And talking about teams, Sean, I mean, you must have built teams, during your various stints. Yeah. So what are rather some key pointers that you look at while, hiring a team or a candidate, from an SEO perspective?
Yeah, if it's not necessarily an international site or enterprise, it's understanding the balance. If a candidate has that balance between the tech and the marketing side, that's huge to have that in place, to understand that there is a balance. It's not just all tech SEO. It's also understanding how to conduct the research and competitive analysis. And if, quite honestly, those are skills that are crucial to doing SEO, whether it's hyperlocal or enterprise or international, those are things that are a huge foundation for a good candidate.
Absolutely. And then, you spent some time in the industry, like we was talking about. Any favorite client story?
Favorite client story. I worked with when I was client side, one of my favorite client stories was enlightening them about some of the nuances between their markets that they were targeting, that they were not aware of. And I actually won an award for the work that we did with them to look at how to modify existing content, but also merge some related content. We saw a huge growth of over 50% year over year in organic traffic. That that was one of my favorite clients because they were willing to do whatever needed to be done. They had a team in place internally to address some of the content as well as development needs. And they were super easy to work with, 100% on board, which is not always the case.
Absolutely. Talk about clients. Great. And then Sean, talking about, kind of content creation, how do you feel that AI moving forward is going to impact it more? I mean, obviously, this has been really impactful from an AI perspective with the last couple of years. But, moving forward, where do you think are we heading with all of these AI tools and the advancements coming in?
I think it's going to be positive because it is essentially a way to get information very quickly. The one thing that concerns me is that as well, that it's a way to get information really quickly. And people just simply take what is generated on whatever chat or AI platform and using that without doing any human editing. So that's a bit of a concern that there are some companies that will probably just do that and will get penalized, especially by Google. But the positive side, where I see it, is it's going to accelerate the ability to do keyword analysis. And we're starting to see even tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs, where they started folding in AI research. It just helps provide another avenue and a way to make our work more efficient and less time consuming.
Absolutely. And I mean, obviously, if you're using it as an enabler, then it's, it kind of, makes the job easier. The final, deliverable content or let's say product might not be there yet, but you never know. I mean, with all of the, with all the evolution coming through, you never really know, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, they've been saying that for quite some time. So until it happens, it happens.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And for our audiences today, Sean, especially the young ones listening to you, or let's say the entrepreneurs who are trying to start their own agencies, set up stuff. What is that piece of advice you would want to give to them?
I would say the first thing is build a website and get that foundation on the technical side so that it helps educate how the structure of the web page should be for the content that you're creating. So they all dovetail together. And I think that's hugely important because a lot of times if, for example, Premium Frog is one tool that I'm not getting paid to promote them or anything, but I would say Screaming Frog has that balance between content and technical. So get that technical side, get the understanding of what good content looks like as it's written, and then understand the importance of internal linking. And with internal linking, not using simply click here or read more, but it's understanding how the relationships of various content on a site play together and how to link to them. So number one, technical foundation. Number two, content creation, content writing. And number three, understanding the importance of the semantical relationship between pages and content as it's created.
You just have a very important point here talking about links, How do you approach link building strategies, for multi-language sites? And, what are the challenges there?
Yeah, with multilingual sites, it's definitely a bigger challenge because there's different platforms in different countries, whether it's in China or in Europe, et cetera. Oftentimes, if a company is large enough, what we're able to do is work with the marketing team to ensure that they have a good social media presence that they're posting, looking for any sort of Reddit forums or subreddits. And then number three, if there are experts within their industry that work in those markets, reaching out to them, interviewing them, mentioning them, seeing if there's, some sort of partnership that can occur where they're writing an article on their site, reviewing the product or services for the said company.
Absolutely. And finally, Sean, in your opinion, what are the emerging trends in SEO? Should B2B and SaaS companies kind of, keep an eye out preparing for the next couple of years?
I think my answer to that would be essentially looking at the previous updates that Google has done. And if we look at the essence of those updates, they have all been around useful content, helpful content, ensuring that not only do let's say it's an e-commerce page or a B2B SaaS, et cetera, ensuring that whatever solution or product that they're offering is optimized appropriately, that is unique, because I've seen it so many times where companies of that size, they just regurgitate the same content on the pages over and over. It needs to be unique. It needs to be matching the user intent behind the query. And that applies to blog articles, having that expertise on your site and that internal linking from blog articles to the landing pages. So I'm going to say that is going to continue, and it's going to be even more important as the AI models come about and evolve even further. So it's what it comes down to is ensuring that all the content on your site is optimized appropriately and the structure of your site is well kept.
Absolutely. Good points there. Great, Sean. This has been a brilliant session. But before we let you go, I would like to play a quick rapid fire with you. I hope you.
I'm game.
All right. Talking about SEO, your last Google search.
My last Google search was a site colon on a client's website looking for particular keywords.
Again, work. Okay. SEO versus paid.
SEO is what?
SEO versus PPC.
Depends on the size of the client, but they go hand in hand. So I can't say one or the other, but obviously I'm going to say SEO.
Loved you said that. I also firmly believe that both go hand in hand. One is branding, one is a long-term exercise. So yeah, one is immediate, phone calls kind of coming in. So it depends on the strategy overall, right? Okay. Your next vacation.
My next vacation is going to be to Japan.
Your celebrity crush.
Well, I'm going to, so my wife is 100% Japanese, so we're going to visit her family.
No, so the next question, your celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. Oh boy. I'd probably say Jennifer Lawrence, just because she's funny and quirky and down to earth.
All right. We get it. All right. Your favorite sport.
Yes.
Where do you find Sean on Friday evenings after office?
Sitting on the couch watching Netflix.
Okay, we'll not build any further, Sean. You have been a sport. Thank you so much, for taking out time to do this with us. I'm sure our audience would resonate with the insights you shared. And if they want to reach out to you, how do they do that?
They can reach me at Sean V, SEANV at Fujisan Marketing.
All right. Thank you, Sean, once again. And this has been a brilliant session. Really appreciate it, man. Cheers.
Thank you.